Well, good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. Hey, real quick, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today, I wanted to get on here and talk about some Tacoma mod fails. Some mistakes that I've made along the way in some of the mods that I've done. Not necessarily the mod itself, but how I did the mod and how I went about putting things in, let's say. And the reason I'm putting up this video, because I wish I'd have seen a video like this myself when I was doing mods, or starting out doing mods, so that maybe I didn't make some of these mistakes. So maybe to help somebody out there out a little bit. So we've got the Tacoma kind of half down right there. So I'm gonna go over here to the front, because the first one has to do with this front-facing camera. You notice I have it mounted right here, and if you look, it sticks out just a little bit. There's a lip there. And the reason for that is because I drilled a hole up through the grill here to insert the shaft, if you will, or the threaded piece that you screw a bolt on from the other side. Now, the reason, the mistake that I made here, first of all, was mounting it this way. It wasn't necessary. What I should have done is use double-sided tape. I mean, the tapes that we have today are so strong, there's no reason not to use them for something lightweight like this. Plus, if it ever were to fail, this has a wire on it. It isn't going anywhere. It would just dangle here and you could put another piece or try a different brand. But if I'd have done that, I would have been able to have mounted this thing a little bit further back, or potentially even in a different spot, and not had to drill anything into this grill itself. And I'll show you real quick, because I got a little smarter when I did it on the Tundra, and I actually used double-sided tape. You guys can see right here. I used double-sided tape here, and it isn't going anywhere. I mean, it's on there just as solidly as the front-facing camera on the Tacoma is, except I didn't have to drill any holes, and I could sit it back a little bit further to get it where I wanted. That's mistake number one. Double-sided tape is out there. It works in many applications, lightweight obviously, and nothing that you're going to spend a fortune on if you lose, but use double-sided tape. The second thing is the lift setup, or rather the tires that I had bought. Originally I had larger tires on the Tacoma than what I have now. Now, I didn't really do a ton of research, or I did a ton of research. I didn't do enough research because I had a rubbing problem on the UCAs here. They hit when I turned right here. There wasn't enough room. And I should have been aware of that, or I should have researched it even more so that I didn't have that problem. I could have gone with those tires if I'd have put spacers on the truck. You know, that dirty word wheel spacer that everybody says you shouldn't do. But I could have, and then I would have been able to use those tires, but I didn't want to do that on the Tacoma. So make sure you do your research before you put tires on. Go somewhere. Set them beside the new tires. Take a look. Are they a lot wider? Is there going to be room in here? Are you going to have room on the front? Are you going to have room in the rear when you turn the tires? Make sure that you pay attention to that kind of thing, because unlike my situation, it might be rather costly. I was able to use those tires on Krista's Jeep, but that might not have been the case, and then what? They're not going to take tires back. They're used. So you either buy new ones, buy wheel spacers, or just live with it. Make sure you do your research and check before you do something like that. All right, next we need to step inside the truck. This is something that even when I did it, I was thinking, man, I probably shouldn't do this, but I did anyway. And that is when I installed the switch down here for the front-facing camera. You notice all of the switch spots in my truck here are full. There is no more room for anything else with the addition of this switch. Now, there wasn't room to begin with. There is another switch in here that is factory that goes with the truck. I think it's a BSM switch, if I'm not mistaken, that I actually replaced with the front-facing camera switch. And what I did with the original switch is I took it out, I taped it up so it was always on, and I put it behind here. Not a good solution, and I'm not real happy that I did that. What I should have done, which is what I have now, is bought this, in this case, Cali raised plate that I put inside the little cubby hole over here. And you'll notice I have two blank spots where I could have put that switch and not had to do what I did over here. Just a stupid way to do it, I think. I don't know why I did that. I am going to fix it. But I never should have done it that way in the first place. So lesson learned here is do it right the first time. There's always a solution. Don't do anything crazy like I did. And while we're in here, look around a little bit. You see these overlays. You've got them here, you've got them there, over there. They're everywhere in here. Now, the mistake I made, I think, is I went a little overboard. I've got way too many of these overlays in the truck. Got a fly buzzing the camera. I don't need this many. It's really overdone, I think. I'm probably going to pull some out. We'll see what's left as far as adhesive on the back. My big fear is that I'm going to have adhesive stuck to these plastic parts, and unlike taking adhesive off of paint, might mar the finish of the plastic to take it off. So I may be stuck with what I have right now as far as taking them off. I'm not sure. And there's nothing wrong with the product. I love the product. I just went overboard. No, it's like putting lights on your truck and having the whole front end covered in lights. There is a limit. Don't go crazy. Go slow. Make sure that that you're paying attention to what you're doing, which in this case, I guess I really didn't. All right, the next thing is don't cheap out. You know, there's a lot of different options for mods and things out there, some less expensive than others, some better quality than others. And my example is on the inside of the truck here, it might be a little dark in here now, you can see the Tacoma lettering over here in the glove box. It's a nice kind of gel type finish on it. It comes out a little bit, so it has a little bit of depth to it. And I think it looks really good. But when I first did this mod, I used vinyl letters. You know, just barely better than plastic. And there's nothing wrong with them if you like that look. But it's definitely a cheaper way to go, and it just doesn't look as good, I don't think, as what I have in there now. And the reason I did that is because they were cheap. I didn't want to spend extra money on something that was a little bit better like this. In the end, obviously, I replaced the vinyl stickers with these gel type stickers, and it's night and day. It looks OEM with these in here. Much easier to place as well than the vinyl stickers. Again, nothing wrong with them. If you like the look of that, or you don't have a ton of money to spend, it's better than nothing. But don't cheap out when you're doing your mods. It's not worth it in the end, because you're going to spend more money fixing it. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about is the exhaust. And this is where we get into a little bit more money. Originally, I had an MBRP exhaust on my Tacoma here, and what I discovered is it was just too loud for my taste. Again, nothing wrong with that exhaust. If you're looking for something that's a little bit louder, it's probably the perfect exhaust for you. I mean, it's an awesome exhaust, just louder than what I wanted to hear. So what I did, I had replaced that exhaust with the TRD exhaust that you guys can see here right now. Now, this exhaust is, of course, nowhere near as loud as what the MBRP exhaust is. Matter of fact, I would say it's only marginally louder than stock, just a little bit. But it cuts it down enough so that I like it. I like to be able to hear just a little bit of grumble, which it gives me very little. But again, not nearly as loud as what that MBRP exhaust was. I will say, I love the startup and rev sound on the MBRP exhaust. Just didn't like hearing it all the time in the cab, and it cost me. I bought the MBRP exhaust and I had to buy this exhaust. So I've kind of got double the money in the exhaust. And my point here, I guess, is make sure that you check it out. If you know anybody that has the exhaust that you want, go listen to it in person, because videos do not do exhaust notes justice. Make sure that you get the right one so that you don't have to get a second one like I did back here. All right, next up is bolt tightening. This drives me nuts because I am fully aware of it, and I seem to do it every time, or almost every time, maybe every other time I work on a project. I over tighten the bolts, I strip the bolts out. Now, a lot of the fasteners and stuff in the Tacoma back here have like nylon threaded inserts that you screw into, nylon nuts if you will. So it doesn't take much to strip those out. And my example here is on the grill. We have two bolts here that we had to remove, one here and one here. And of course, I stripped both of them. I went too far. I didn't stop at the point of contact, I guess, which is really where you should. I kept going, and now they're just freewheeling. They're not loose enough that they're gonna pull out, but it drives me nuts that I tighten these things so tight that I stripped out these, knowing full well that I shouldn't have done that, that indeed they're just nylon inserts and you really can't go very far. I also had a couple of other instances in the cab when I was doing the front-facing camera mod where I over-tightened those bolts and stripped one of them out. Just a stupid thing to do. Don't over-tighten. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, get the right tools for the job. This drives me nuts as well because I know better, right? How many times when you needed to take a trim piece off or something, have you used this? A metal screwdriver with a sharp pointed end. You stick it in there and you're gonna be careful. You know you're gonna be careful. You start prying away, and of course you're pushing on the bottom surface as you pry up, or you're pushing on the top surface as you pry down, and these things scratch every time. I don't care how careful you are, and then when you do it, you kick yourself and you're like, why did I do that? I know that's gonna happen, right? I've done it many times myself. Get the right tools. What I should have been using is a plastic pry tool. They're cheap. I think you can get a set of these, like 3 or 4 of them, for under $5. They're cheap. They're plastic. They're not gonna mar or scratch your surface. They're not gonna rip, plastic off or anything like that. There's no reason not to have these. If you're into doing mods, or you think you're gonna be doing mods, invest $5 or so in a set of these. You will thank yourself later, trust me. All right, the last thing that I'm gonna mention, and maybe the most important, is have a plan. Have a plan, make a list. Put everything in order that you plan to do. Sit down and think about it before you do anything. And the reason I mention this is because recently I decided to put a light bar in the front of the Tacoma back here, right down there. There's videos and stuff on it. But prior to doing that, I had put the old Raptor style grill lights in here. You guys can see them right here. And I also put the front facing camera in there. So what that meant was that everything was all nice and tucked in there and wired and looking pretty, and just because I was done, right? Well, I thought I was done. So then I decided to put this LED light bar in there, and of course I had to take the grill off, and that meant I had to unwire everything or remove it and leave it inside the grill area there so that I could have access. As it turned out, I actually had to remove the Raptor style lights from the grill, which was a pain, and fortunately the camera just unplugged. So all I had to do was untape that connection and then just unplug it. But why did I do that? Why did I not have a list of what I wanted to do and then do it in the order that makes sense? Obviously, if you're looking to put a light bar in, then put that in and it's done. It's out of the way, and it won't impact anything going forward if you decide to install Raptor style lights or a camera or maybe something else in the grill. I don't know. But it really pays to sit down and do that. List things in the order that they should be installed and follow that list. You'll save yourself a lot of time and possible breakage. I mean, every time you take that grill out or take a wire apart or remove a mod that you've already installed, you chance breaking it or having problems down the road. So why not have a good list in order of the things that you're gonna do so that you don't run into those problems? I wish I'd have done it to begin with. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, run through some of the mistakes that I've made, stupid things that I've done, things that I've broken, I guess. One other thing I'll mention, I also lost a clip. Be careful. When I was going to put the radio back in, the plastic trim piece that goes around it is held on by clips, and they have this little thing that fits over that clip for pressure. Well, one flipped off and fell down in the center console. Never did find it. I don't know where it went. Who knows? Anyway, I hope this helps out somebody out there for making the kind of mistakes that I did. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment down below. You ever done anything stupid like that trying to do a mod? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.